Welcome to another video of the Target Individual Program, the Target Individual Experience. So, where do I begin? As you see on the screen, it's the word propaganda, or the story of propaganda. And let's talk about what propaganda really is. All right? Because I think for the sheeps, the brainless, the religious indoctrination or indoctrinated sheeps, and I have to call them sheeps because that's what they are. They are sheeps who are being slaughtered every day. And when I say slaughter, I'm not just talking about just being killed, but I'm talking about economically, psychologically, societally, educationally, medically, historically, and in terms of history in itself. So, let's talk about the history of propaganda before I get into my targeting and the videos that I'm going to show you guys, because the perps think they got a victory today. Okay? They think they got a victory, but like I said, I do things in a certain way because I've learned. I've studied them. So they have shown me some of their hands. So now I'm going to continue showing them my hands. And my hands is always based off of the truth, off of the video evidence that I record, and the research that I've done and continue to do to expose their lies, to expose the lies about the technology that they've developed to control and manipulate and influence human minds, and the psychological program that they've created in order to discredit and hide and silence those of us who have come forward to expose what has been done, what had been done, and continue to be done. So the history of propaganda, the fact that, excuse me, let me just check on something. I want to make sure that my mic is recording properly. Alright, I see the indicator there that it is. Okay, so the history of propaganda. The fact that wars gave rise to intensive propaganda campaigns made many persons suppose that propaganda is something new and modern. But we all know, for those of us who study history, know that it is not. And like I said, you have to do your research and study and learn about history in order to see that what's being done today is nothing new. This is just a continuation of the same things. We may be in a different time. The world changed. We will become more technologically advanced. They will use those technological advancements and incorporate it into these sort of programs and continue to do what they're doing. So as you hear a kid in the background, again, it's because now that I've started to record this, my sister's letting her grandson run all over the hallway, whereas before she kept him in the room. But of course, this is always to try to cause interruption in order to prevent me from doing these things or to cause some sort of interference. But that's not going to work. So excuse the noise in the background. All right. So, the word itself came into common use in this country as late as 1914, when World War I began. The truth is, however, that propaganda is not new and modern. Nobody would make the mistake of assuming that it is new if, from early times, effort to mobilize attitudes and opinion had actually been called propaganda. The battle of men's mind is as old as human history. Okay, so let me just skip past some of this. All right, so let's go. What are the tools of propaganda? Whether the propagandists work in a peacetime or wartime situation, he uses certain tools to mobilize opinion and attitudes. What are these tools? The important one is suggestion. Another word for it is stimulation. The propagandist tries to stimulate others to accept without challenge his own assertion or to act as he wants them to do. The idea of using suggestion or simulation as a propaganda device is that it will lead a public to accept a proposition even though there are not logical grounds for accepting it. The propagandist usually tries to sidestep critical reaction from his audience, and therefore suggestion is one of his most important tools. So how does the propagandist use this tool? By making broad and positive statements, by presenting his statements in simple and familiar language, by refusing to admit or even suggest that there is another side of the question. Hitler's brutal and direct suggestion that the Jews sold out the German people in World War I, the stab in the back, the Nazi propagandists called it, is an example of this kind of propaganda. Another example is the repeated Nazi propagandist assertion that Prime Minister Churchill and President Roosevelt were warmongers. So you see what I'm saying? You hear the noise? So why does she wait until I am doing my call or this podcast, right? To, when for the past 2 hours she had him in the other bedroom. Because again, this is what they do to try to cause interruption. And because what they're doing hasn't worked, or it works sometimes, but I always bounce back with the truth, okay, is the reason. And they will retaliate in very subtle ways because, again, they have the childlike mentality and personality. So this is what, they do, and this is what happens. So anyway, let me begin again and continue. All right. Suggestion is highly developed art in commercial advertising. An obvious example is the flat declaration that some brand of vitamins will remedy that tired and run-down feeling. The second propaganda tool is only a subtler form of suggestion. This tool is the use of hints, insinuation, and indirect statements. As TIs, we should know about these things, okay? An example or two from the field of advertising will illustrate this method. The sponsorship of a symphony orchestra by a commercial company may be expected to create a feeling of goodwill on part of the listeners towards the product of the sponsor. Sometimes programs designed to portray the life and culture of another country are propagandists in nature, designed to sell that country to listeners in a home country. The third method of propaganda is the appeal to the known desires of an audience. Psychologist says that desire is an important factor in belief. Thus, some people may support some unsound economic scheme because they desire an income in their old age. Others will subscribe to some fraudulent scheme of psychology in order to improve their personality. The self-interest propagandists will study public opinion to find out what things people are for or against in order to decide on the labels that he will use to bring about desired reaction. He knows that such words as justice, constitution, Americanism, and law and order, which arouse favorable attitude, will serve as a favorable background for his message, and so he uses them. On the other hand, he may use certain other words, for example, radical or un-American, to influence his listeners to reject a cause or idea that he regards as inimical to his own interests. Hitler is adept and completely unscrupulous in appealing to various groups in Germany. There has been little consistency in his appeal, but there have been many suggested cure-all for discontented and unhappy groups. The insincerity of the Nazi performance is revealed in the statement of a careful student who says, National Socialism has no political or social theory. It has no philosophy and no concern for the truth. In a given situation, it will accept any theory that might prove useful, and it will abandon the theory as soon as the situation changes. National Socialism is an agrarian reform and against it. For private property and against it. For idealism and against it. So again, this is how, those who are skilled in manipulation, those within the government agencies who hire psychologists, psychiatrists, sociologists, economists in order to manipulate public opinion or to get the public to view certain positions as negative or certain people as negative, right? And turn those people against other people. And we see what happens already during this Trump administration, particularly what happened recently with the insurrection on Capitol Hill. And again, so now you're going to have, not only that, but people lost their life. Now, many of these people will be thrown in jail, and they should. Okay, they should. Because of what they've done. All right? And the hatred that they have and disdain for anybody who is not white. And the most interesting thing is that a lot of the founders of the so-called Proud Boy organization, actually the founding member has a black wife, right? So when you look at those things, here's a white guy who is the founder of Proud Boys, a racist organization, and yet he's married to a black woman. So tell me how propaganda and brainwashing doesn't work, okay? Because again, that is what they want you to believe, because they know it does. But as long as they can get you to believe that it doesn't, then they can use it on you whenever they want, okay? So you guys can read about this. This is the American Historical Association, and you can read about propaganda and understand what it is, how it's being used to not just change and affect you and I, but others around you. Okay? So alright, so now let's go on to the next one. And again, this is all propaganda. So recently, not recently actually, but one of the editors, ex-editors of Cosmopolitan, wrote a book. Okay? And the book was about how Cosmopolitan used propaganda to trick women and to use the feminist movement to push certain agenda for advertisers in order to sell products and in order for Cosmopolitan to get more advertising revenue. So this video that you see here, this is YouTube from the Ruth Institute, and it says for 20 years Sue Ellen Browder wrote for Cosmopolitan about made-up women embracing promiscuity and the sexual revolution. Why? So the magazine could sell expensive products to those who wanted to be like this ideal woman. So they made up a whole bunch of fictional ideal women, and then they duped women into trying to become those women. But those women were not real. They were made up. Okay? So I'm not going to play this video. You guys can watch it yourself. Okay? And again, we can see how powerful propaganda is. That it can change generations of people belief to believe in something that's not real, just like religion, and how religion is being used to make people believe in a God or a Jesus Christ that is not real. And no matter how many evidence you've shown to them, they will not accept it because they have been indoctrinated so heavily, right, in this Jesus character, and continue to call this name of this person Jesus, when the facts are that the letter J wasn't invented until the 1600s, right? So then again, so how, actually they're talking loud, that's okay. So now, right, even though people know that, and common sense will tell them, hey, well, there was no J back then, so what's the real name of this person? They wouldn't even pick up a book to even go look. Okay? That's how propaganda works, and how propaganda can also indoctrinate the mind to reject the truth and to stay blinded from the truth and not even want to know the truth. So this is something, again, like I said, which they do to us as TIs, their propaganda, and they get the communities, people in the communities, to target us in such ways, right? But what they're not telling those in the community is how they drug us, how they use psychological manipulation to condition us in a certain way, how the use of technology developed by the CIA, Department of Defense, in terms of directed energy weapons for the use of the manipulation of a person's mind and actions, right? To induce words, thoughts, ideas, to influence a person's mind without them knowing it. They don't tell them about that. Okay, because they have made the public believe that these things do not exist and these things are science fiction. When we know for a fact, when I say we, those of us who've done the research, who've taken the time to do the research, when you find out about Dr. Jose Delgado, who was a CIA scientist in the 60s all the way up to the 1980s, and his work on trying to control the human mind, and what he did with implants, right? And how he was able to stop a charging bull using a remote control, right? A wireless remote control, matter of fact. And how he prophesied that soon they will be able to control human behavior, human emotions, human thoughts wirelessly through the use of microwave and radio wave frequency. And then when you look at the research that the Russians have put into it, the billions of dollars, and the Russian scientists admitted that they have reached that point, right? Then you need to start to think critically, okay? And this is something that we don't do because we are conditioned into that way. And so when they try to manipulate a person like me, okay, who they have no idea that who would be exposing them in this manner and in such a way that they never thought possible, right? They will do whatever. They will attack, spread their lies, use family members to target you, okay? And have them call you crazy, right? As their children steal your belongings, okay? Your jewelry, and then tell you that it's all in your head, right? Because you're a non-believer, and they think it's okay to psychologically abuse you, to steal from you, to take your things, to destroy it, right? And don't want to listen when you're giving them, good advice, but they rather take bad advice from those that believe in the same BS religion that they believe in. Good luck with that. How's that working out for y'all? So anyway, so you can read the listen to the YouTube video on this, and also, but look at what they've done to black women. Black women call themselves feminists. That's why black women today, particularly those that are 40 and older, are by themselves. Okay? Because they were trying to be like white feminist women. And the reason why this is all coming out, right? And again, this lady wrote her book, I think, in 2017. So all of a sudden, 2020, and again, if you look at the date on that, that's June 26th. We're in 221. Okay? But I wish I had known about this. But I got to thank my dude, Kevin Samuels, who is constantly, putting the truth out, and how these white feminists and the white feminist movement have destroyed the mental state of black women, and how it had led to generation of black women in their 40s on up, single with a dog. The dog become their children. Okay? Because they cosmopolitan lie that made them want to compete with men in the workplace. And there's nothing wrong with women having a job and competing in the workplace against men. But it's when you make them forego marriage or children for the sake of a company maximizing their profits. And again, also, when you look at who's behind all this, are men, corporate men, corporations run by men. Okay? So, that's all I got to say on that. But like I said, it's fascinating. It is fascinating. Okay? Alright, so let me put that up there. Also, let me go to one of my favorite website, psychologicalharassment.com. Okay? And mind control tactics. Okay? So I'm not going to spend too much time on this. I'm just going to scroll through this so you guys can see. I got to do this from time to time because they will manipulate you to forget, and you won't even think twice about it. Okay? So, what is coercive mind control tactics? Today's mind control or brainwashing in academia is commonly referred to as coercive persuasion, coercive psychological system, or coercive influence. The short description below comes from Dr. Margaret Singer, Professor Emeritus at the University of California, Berkeley, the acknowledged leading authority in the world on mind control and cults. Right? So, you guys can read all of that. And then, you read about psychological manipulation and induced psychological illnesses. Okay? Alright, so now, let's go to the video. Alright, so, I was going to put this video out, but I decided to wait. Because again, I love to see what they're going to do. That is how I study them and get to understand their tactics, how they move, how they operate, how they use my family at times, how they'll use other people that I talk to, even though there are a few of them, very few, but how they can influence their mind in order to target me. Okay? And of course, they're unaware. I don't make them aware because it really doesn't bother me. But I do recognize it. And I do try to make a note of some things that they'll say or they'll do. And I'm just like, yeah, okay. All right, they've been influenced. Or they have been conditioned to target me. Okay? So, 2 weeks ago, and you guys heard me talk about this. I was going to, actually 2 weeks, I was going to go to the mall to see about getting new glasses. And I told you guys, I had told Pam that, I will watch the kids for her in the morning while she go get her nails done. And when she comes back, I'll leave and go to the mall. And so we got up that Saturday. She got up an hour before me. And you would think that would be one of the first things that she does, is to call to make the appointment. But she didn't. So I wake up an hour later, and then an hour after that is when she decides to call to make an appointment. And I kept saying to myself, well, why she wait so late? And knowing her, and my thinking was that she waited that late because whoever it is she wanted to see, wasn't available until that time. So even though she was going to get her nails done, she was also going to see somebody else. And I've told her, I said, if I'm there with the kids, if I'm going to watch the kids for you, while you go out, do what you gotta do, whether we go shopping or what have you, that's fine. But I'm not watching the kids. Coming over to your house, watch the kids while you go see some man or whoever it is that you see. It's not going to happen. Okay? You're not going to disrespect me like that, and I'm not going to be a fool. Okay? As much I may have loved you, that's not going to happen. All right? So, and I felt that what was happening because after her nails used to take about 2 hours. So 2.5 hours, I didn't hear from her. So I called her to see if she was on her way, because she told me, she said, because after I mentioned to her, listen, I told you I wanted to go to the mall. Well, she's like, oh, I'm just going to get my nails. I'm going to take a cab and take a cab back. But she didn't let me know that she was on her way to take, or what have you. So I said, okay, I'll give her extra half an hour. Called her. She's telling me, oh, I'm on the phone. I'll call you back. So I waited for 20 minutes. She didn't call me back. So I call her back. Then she says to me, oh, you don't give a sister a chance. I'm like, what are you talking about? I said, I'm waiting for you because I have to go to the mall. Okay? So why are you coming up with all of this? So anyway, by the time she got back to the house, it was late. And I wasn't going to go to the mall that late. So I said, okay, you know what? I'll go the next day. So, so since that, I have, barely talked to her. Last week, she was calling me, was it Monday? All day Monday. And in the background, as she was calling me, there were police sirens going off. Then Tuesday and Wednesday, I didn't hear a word from her. I called to speak to the kids. And then all of a sudden, yesterday now, and over the weekend, she didn't call me at all. She didn't, I spoke to the kids. I was speaking to Ethan, and she takes his phone, wanted to have a conversation with me. And I'm like, listen, I have nothing to say to you. All right? So anyway, so then yesterday she calls me, I didn't answer. She called me twice because she was at work. So I know it wasn't about the kids, so I didn't answer. Then she texts me, hey, I called you twice. I'm just checking in. I'm like, huh? I'm just like, come on now. You know what I'm saying? Like, seriously? So she calls me again today. And then I was like, okay. Because I went outside today. And I was being targeted today. And it's funny because there was a Hispanic dude. He's walking towards me, takes his phone out of his pocket, looks at it, and he's like smiling. Like, yeah, we got you on your phone, we've tapped your phone and what have you. And I'm like, well, you see, this is what people don't understand, right? When people go around spreading rumors and propaganda, right? Even if it is your voice that they may be hearing, what they don't tell you is how, because I don't even know if I said anything, you know what I'm saying? Because I don't think I've ever said anything that will incriminate me in any type of criminal activities or anything like that. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know, but that is the purpose, and that's what they'll do. They'll spread propaganda, but they don't want you to know what it is that they're saying or what it is that they're spreading, because they don't want to give you a chance to defend yourself. Okay? See, this is how destructive religious cults behave. This is how criminals within the law enforcement agencies and the FBI behave. This is how the FBI during COINTELPRO Pro behave in destroying black organizations, black lives, and black families, right? This is how they behave. So it's nothing new. But the fact that they have tapped into the religious mindset and the fact that they have created this super cult, okay? And they can spread rumors and what have you, such and such, right? But they don't give you a chance to defend yourself because they know if they did, right, people will look at them in an unfavorable way. But their agenda is to always be looked at in a favorable way, and whoever they target is to be looked at in a negative way. So we have to understand that. Okay? So anyway, so as I was saying, so I got back in, and then she calls me, and I had to go. And she was like, "You rushing me off the phone?" I had to go. Now, last week, I called her at her job because I had called Ethan. This was after 3 o'clock, and I know his class is over, to get to speak to him. Now, his phone rang. It went into voicemail. So I called her. Her voicemail came on. I called her back, and I saw that she sent me a text, so I hanged up. Then she called me back a half an hour later, and she says to me, why am I calling her at her job? Now, mind you, last week Monday, she called me at least 3 times during the day from her job. Okay? So now all of a sudden, I just called her to speak to see, if she knows what's going on with Ethan, if he's sleeping or what have you. And she says to me, she called me back, she says to me, why am I calling her at her job? I'm like, hello? A week ago, you were calling me, I was calling you, it wasn't a problem. So why all of a sudden this attitude now? And then she tried to lie about it over the weekend as I just had a brief conversation with her. And I told her, I said, don't lie about it. When you're around certain people, you show your ass. Okay? But I'm not the one. Okay? Those days are over. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, yeah. And then all of a sudden, again, you see this week she's calling me. I know I haven't called her once. Right? Well, I did call her last night because the kids were still up and I wanted to make sure that she was up to make sure they put them to bed. Okay? So I'm saying to her, listen, that's like, I gotta go. She's like, you rushing me off the phone? I'm like, look, I'm cooking. I have nothing to say to you. You have nothing, for the past week and a half, you have nothing to say to me. You know what I'm saying? In your nasty attitude about why am I calling you at your job. So anyway. Shit is just so funny. But anyway, man. So I went outside today. Yeah, they started targeting me. The fire trucks, and it was hilarious. I'm looking at them and I'm watching them, and I'm like, oh, they feel pretty good, right? Because again, see, yesterday I did laundry, and how they were targeting me, I'll show you guys on the video, okay? And so they knew that I had good video footage of what they were doing, so they had to jump on this as quick as possible to go ahead and do their propaganda campaign, right, to try to nullify what I'm about to show, because again, that's what manipulators do. See, once they realize and they know that you've got them, okay, they will bring up new shit or create new shit in order to nullify what you have. Okay? So let's go to the video. So this was in the mall. I came out of the mall because I went to the place where I got my glasses, or my frames. I mean, not my frames, my lens, because I buy my frames. It's a whole lot cheaper that way. And I just pay for the lens, right? The frames I buy off eBay, and I take it, and they just fill the prescription. That's it. So when I went there, I was shocked of how expensive it was, just for the lens. right? $500. First of all, the way how the sales guy was behind the counter, highly suspicious. He started, telling me all the stuff about, lens and all the stuff and different such and such, and I'm like, okay, all right. But there were a few people there, and they were talking to the sales guy, and there was another young woman there, and I had asked her a question. I said I was going to ask her a question, and she says to me, she's like, hold up, give me a sec. That sec went into 7 minutes. After 7 minutes, my phone rang. And my phone rang, and it was a number from Terrytown, New York. Let me see if I can find it. It was 2 weeks ago, so okay, here we go. Let me pull it up. Okay, so this was January right. So the number, like I said, I got the call, and this is the number. Let's see if you guys can see it. Hold up. Where are we at here? Let's go. Actually, you know what? Let me change the. Let's see. Can I change the background? Okay. All right. Let me see. Get the focus. Come on, get the focus. Come on, get the focus. Get the focus. Focus. There we go. Okay. All right. Okay, now you hear that? The number I dialed is not in service. So anyway, so this was the call that I got. And you see the number 914-332, the number 32, right? And then as soon as my phone rang, right? There were 4 people talking to the sales guy. As soon as my phone rang, they all left. Then one of the young ladies came back, and she says to the sales rep, "What's your name?" And he gives her the card, and she says to him, "Oh, I'll be back. I'm gonna see you real soon." Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, this is a salesperson that's behind the counter. You're telling him, "I'll be back. I'm gonna see you real soon." Like, and in the manner she said it with attitude, right? So again, I can tell that this was all. I'm sorry for my hands getting too animated here. But I understand that it was all a script because they knew I was going. Okay, so then they left, and then 2 of the women came back and was looking at me and the sales rep interaction with each other while they were doing hand signals or what have you. And I'm looking at this, I'm like, yeah, okay, these people are very special. Meanwhile, the young lady behind the counter started, doing her hands. You know what? Let me play the video. And
look at the perp. Look at the perp standing there. Look at him. He stopped moving. I'm leaving.
Right. So I just come out of the ophthalmologist place. This guy, he's standing right here in front of this store, right, the newsstand. And that was when I took my phone out. And immediately as I took my phone out, because he was standing there staring at me, but immediately as I took my phone out,
look at the perp. Look at the perp standing there. Look at him. He stopped moving. I'm leaving. Yes.
Right.
We put them on camera.
So she turns and he looks. Okay.
We put the perps on
camera.
camera.
Pause this because there's certain
bunch of assholes
happening.
That's what they are. Bunch of mindless zombies, assholes. They head up their ass so much they can't even smell it. Anyway, so went to the mall.
All right, now you'll see now So this woman here, okay, she looks at her phone and she looks at me. All right.
To get my
and you see that slight pause. She stops for a minute as she looks at her phone, looks at me and then continues to walk.
Shit is expensive. Here's another one.
Now you'll see she starts looking in the sky, and then she starts to open up her 4 fingers. All right, again, this is masking to make it seem like she's not targeting me. Okay, now I want you guys to see how
shit is expensive. Here's another one.
Her pinky finger as she does. See that?
Here's another one.
Real quick. And then you gotta watch the hand signals, right?
Shit is expensive. Here's another one.
Okay. And what she does is that she, as you see, she takes her. Look at where her thumb is at.
To get my glasses. Shit is
she takes her
expensive.
thumb,
Here's another one.
right there. Place it on her second to last finger, the finger right next to the pinky.
Here's another.
Okay.
One.
And then you'll see the palm fixation drill. She's going to open up.
Look at her. Look at her. Another one. All right. So I went to the mall and see about my glasses, and
now you see them with the mall security. Okay.
No.
Yeah, see, look, he's looking at.
Shit ended up being expensive, but anyway, check this out. So I'm sitting there waiting, you know. They ain't paying me no mind. I asked the girl behind the counter, and I said, "Hey, let me ask you a question." She's like, "Hold on." Got me waiting. Then my phone. Right, about a few minutes later, my phone rings, and a number from Tarrytown. Right, the number. It's like a 332 number. You see, here's the number 32 again that they use, right? Then all of a sudden, everybody starts like walking away, right? Everybody starts walking away. So they started doing all these hand signals.
Okay, now I want you guys to see what happened here. All right.
Everybody starts walking.
And again, it's the palm fixation drill. So you'll see she puts
walking
the
away
down on the ground.
Right. Everybody starts walking.
See that? Now, if you look at her other hand, when she put the bag down, she stretched out her other arm, that's on the other side of her, out in front of the arm that's towards me, and then she pulls it back. But you'll see how her palm is open, right? And she's gonna grab the bag. But again, this is all masking, and this is what they do. Okay, now you'll see this dude right here. I don't know what he has in his hand. I don't know what he has in his hand. Whether it looks like paper or tape, white tape, but then you'll see that he does the upside down peace sign. I talk about that, right? And this is something that they'll do. Okay. So they're both looking. Then he goes and he's going to take his index finger, his pointing finger, and he's going to put it in the back of their head.
Okay.
His friend that was walking.
So yeah, so they started doing all these hand signals. This shit is so funny. Wrong way. So yeah.
I haven't been in that mall for a minute, so.
Okay.
I ain't really.
So I was like, okay, they must have been waiting for that call.
Eyeglasses.
And that call must have been the signal, so that they start moving, because there was some other people there, and when my phone rang, they all started walking off, and then one of the girls, she was like, "Yeah, I see you. I see you what she said? She was like, "I see you soon. I see you very soon." As she's walking away, and I'm like, "Yeah, okay." So anyhow, so anyway, so this is All right, so actually I was losing my train of thoughts here because I'm trying to make my way out. So yeah, so right there, I knew that it was all another skit that they do. Look at her sticking her finger out. Yeah, sticking mine out too. Yeah. So right there is a skit that they do. Right, and I'm just looking and observing, and then I realized what was happening. So after there was a girl behind the woman behind the counter's act, you know, she started doing her hands again like those gay dudes used to do in the 90s. You know, you could tell that they gay. So she started doing that shit, and I was like, wow. But anyway,
now,
this is
what's he gonna do here? All right.
I do.
So again,
I expose them. I see what they're doing.
And listen, and what it is that they're doing doesn't really bother me. Not like it did when I was first being targeted. Now there comes the helicopter. Now, funny thing is, because today was the only day in about 2 weeks that I've actually heard helicopters flying overhead. Right, and I've been home every day for almost 2 weeks, not hear a helicopter until up. Right, no helicopters, right, until today when I went inside and started targeting him.
And I exposed.
And now watch this guy now. See him and the guy here in the yellow sweater. So he's standing up there. He sees me. He starts walking on as I approach. Right.
Them, you know, and you come up with the
So watch it.
yellow sweater.
Now you'll see.
I see what they do.
Same hand signal.
And I expose them.
Upside down.
You know.
Okay. Right there. That was his middle finger. It was either his.
You come up with the yellow sweater. Yes. Look at right? They're using the color yellow. Look at them. Yeah, they are yellow.
And then what's going to happen is that they're going to send a young woman now to come and try to block me, right? Because again, it's sending. You see, and as soon as I turn the phone towards her, see, she turns away real quick.
Look.
Literally, she literally walked from behind me to turn around to try to block me. So again, trying to send me subliminal messages about blocking me from women and such, right?
Yeah, and they start crowding next to you. Okay, right? This is what they do.
But like I said, right? They try to make it seem like you're the one that's afraid and you're scared. And, you know, yeah, you'll be afraid because you don't know what the hell is going on. They're using mind control technology on you and around the people that you're with, family members and such, right? But once you begin to understand, and sometimes it takes years, and my job is to put these messages out there so that it doesn't take other TIs who are just put into this program years to get to this point where I'm at. But by finding my videos, by watching my videos, by understanding what's being done, that you're not going to go through a lot of the fear conditioning and a lot of the setups. You'll be able to recognize the setups, recognize the manipulation, know when you go to a restaurant, right, and you may have a glass of soda or one glass of wine, and you feel strange that you've been drugged. That if you go to a restaurant, and that restaurant that you go to, you're always getting food poisoning, is because they're poisoning you, right? And all of that is to break your mind psychologically, to cause you trauma, to break down your mindset so they can soften your mind, so they can induce the subliminal programming, or solidify the subliminal programming in your mind. Okay? So
they start using yellow, then they try to get the young girl, right? Okay?
And then you see the guy with the red jacket, right? It was funny because I spotted him standing against the wall, and as soon as I walk out, actually it was a woman. And
they're trying to get the young girl, right, to come in front.
She started walking away. Okay, now let me get to where I was at the bus stop. Let me see where she is. Okay. So now I'm railing on them.
It's good to expose it. Look at them. Look at them. They all know what's going on. Look at them. Look at them. Look at them. We're going to show. Can't imagine they get all these people to participate in this shit. Bunch of fucking perps.
Now, you see the woman who's holding her cell phone right here, right? I don't know if she's a nurse or not, but on the video, it was a guy, big fat guy, no shirt on. He's in a hospital bed, and he's giving me the middle finger. That's why she's showing me the phone.
Right? You got nothing to do better with their lives. Their lives are miserable as shit. So they got to try to make your life miserable too.
Yeah, But again, it's their way of trying to show you their ability to incorporate people, right? And any group of people or anybody who may even be in a dire situation, that they can also get them to target me.
That's what they do.
Right?
That's how we fight back. That's how we fight back. Get them a taste of their own medicine. They can't hide it anymore if we already exposed it.
Yeah, and sometimes you gotta let them know exactly that you know what it is that they do. Okay?
Yeah.
so that they'll know that, right? And this is one of the things that we as TIs must do and must expose. Okay? So even the past couple of days, my nephew, his son, my sister, all engaging in the palm fixation drill, walking by, showing me the palm of their hand, which again, like I said, it doesn't bother me. I don't really care. Hey, I'll be singing for the rest of my life. I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that. They brought me to that point. I'm fine. No big deal. So, when they can't do that anymore because, they're gonna find something else, right? So now that I'm cool with it, hey, they're showing that they have the ability to manipulate people, women, and to deny me of certain things, on many levels. It's the government we're dealing with here, those within law enforcement. I'm doing the only thing that I can do, which is to try and expose, and I am exposing what's being done. Okay? So, there you go. Alright, so in this video, I'm on the bus, and then this young lady shows up, and when she shows up, everybody started looking at her. And I'm like, why is everybody staring her down? But again, I've experienced this before. So she comes, she sits right in front of me, doing these hand signals. She's like constantly looking out the window, then looking at me. Alright. And then again, see, she's trying to show me what's on her phone. Okay. See, there you go. And then she looks at me. There you go. Constantly doing that. Right? So the fact she's also wearing the color gray. Now the next day, would you believe, my niece wearing gray. She had a friend came who was also wearing gray. And I was in my bedroom. I heard them talking. And, I got up, went in the kitchen to make breakfast. All of a sudden now she's like, oh, I'm leaving, right? Now, it took me about 10 minutes or so to make breakfast. She's in the hallway, constantly saying, I'm leaving. Oh, let me ask you a question. Oh, I'm leaving. Oh, let me ask you a question. So I took my phone out, because I brought my phone with me in the kitchen because I knew what they were trying to do. And I hit the record button. And as soon as I left the kitchen to go back into my room, she comes walking right back into the other bedroom. Okay. Now, I thought you were leaving. You spend 10 minutes standing in the hallway asking questions. Both of them were the same color, the same gray, outfit, sweatsuits, right? But again, like I said, I know what it is that they have to do. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, like I said, exposing them and showing them that you're not scared is something that they don't expect, because they think that they're right, but they're not. All right. So anyway, now I got off the bus and I'm walking home, and you'll see this black.
Look at this shit. Yeah, look at this shit.
Tall. You know, to remind me of Pam. You know, tall with the big one, the long. And she's staring at me in my face like, and I'm just like, okay. And then also, I got off the bus, and it was a white woman who was in the back of the bus, not in the front now, because again, you know, you have to pay, right, to get on the bus, because the bus is not free anymore. All right, sometimes it is, sometimes it's not. So but it's funny how everybody's at the front. The fact that I was the only one that had got off of the back of that bus. So here I am reaching my block, and then you'll see another white woman. She comes with her dog, walking to the corner.
There's a lot of white women lately too. Coming up on the bus, also got off the bus.
She stands
and
there.
Now here.
She's looking at me.
Look at
as I reach the turn, and she turns
and
walking in the same direction.
They just don't stop. But we gotta expose them.
But again, if you look at Leah Remini Scientology show, a documentary, you'll see it's the exact same behavior that the members of Scientology does. This is what these people are doing. So you know this is caught up in religion, right? Again, cults, right? So, yeah, and the funny thing too is for the past few days, no one has been liking any of my posts on Facebook because I've been shadow banned. And so now that I'm doing this video, all of a sudden now people start liking my posts now. All of a sudden they find my posts, right? That's to tell you how they are and how they can manipulate and not show your posts on Facebook and stuff like that. And you know, the racist as Facebook. I always say this. You know, Facebook has more racists working for them. That's why when it comes to us as black people exposing the truth about white supremacy in America and how they treat black people, they censor us. Okay? And so we have to always announce that we're being shadow banned, or we have to constantly tag our friends in order for them to see our posts.
Yeah, the Jewish guy. That's where these people are. You know, when you start to figure out what the hell they're doing, you know, they're a bunch of simpletons. When you start to really look at what is that they're doing, and the only thing that they have on their side is the fact that they have law enforcement who are the enforcers of these, the manipulators of these cults that they've created, these so-called religious organization.
Okay, so I'm going to end this video right there. Now this was yesterday when I went to the laundry. Now, because of the remote monitoring, they have been sending me subliminal message about if I go outside, I'll be arrested. And so they knew that I was going to do laundry, because I started sorting out my laundry early. And so what happened and this is the first time I've seen this, right, where I'm going to the laundry and there's a police vehicle parked up right in front of the laundry. Okay? As you guys will see.
Yeah, look at this shit, right? We got a fucking police vehicle right by the laundry that's go to. Because they've been sending me subliminal messages about if I go outside, I get arrested. Right? So look at this shit. Okay? Alright, look at this shit. That's to tell you. Alright, I have to tell you how they don't stop.
Alright, So yeah, and so they were pretty mad, just like how they were mad today that I'm able to go outside, and I've always been able to go outside, no matter what type of subliminal message they send me. I'm not staying inside because of the subliminal message and the threats. Okay, I'm staying inside because this is the coronavirus and a pandemic, and you know, I'm going hanging out anyway. All right, so I stay inside. Yeah, so then, the cop, he was staring at me, literally staring at me. All right, it was one white police officer, I should say, in that vehicle, and he was just staring at me. Now the funny thing is that because I recorded it, all right, and so inside I put my clothes in the washing machine. Took about a few minutes, less than 5 minutes. Came back out, and the police vehicle was gone. All right.
So I gotta record this because he left when I entered into the laundry. I'm just going outside just to go to the store. And oh shoot, hey.
Yeah, the store closed.
He had some Tide in the powdered form. So I asked him, I said, is this detergent or just like a laundry detergent? So I asked him to come back. Okay. So I'm at the laundry and I need to get laundry detergent. So I asked the guy behind the counter. I looked at the Gain. There's a small bottle of Gain they wanted $5 for. So he had some Tide in the powdered form. So I asked him, I said, is this detergent or just like a whitener, like a bleach? He says to me he doesn't know. I'm like, okay, so you're selling products but you don't know what they're for? So this is where the police cars parked up, but you see he's no longer there because as soon as I started recording, he went inside the laundry.
Let me go back a little bit because
inside the laundry.
See the Jewish girl walk by, and what does she does? Fold her lips. Right, while showing me her phone in her hands, she's folding her lips. Okay. And you see the guy walking in front, he bows his head. All right, you listen, you guys.
Went inside the laundry.
I don't know how to spot these people. Like I don't recognize the shit that they do. Okay.
Went inside the laundry.
Yeah, let's go. Let me try and get it better. Right there. Okay. Right there. See how she does this. All right. And you see the guy. She bows his head. All right.
He leaves. Yeah.
Walk into the store. and the reason why I didn't go back in there and buy the Gain is simple for the fact is that I asked him a question. I asked him what this was, and he didn't want to tell me. Right? He did not want to tell me. So I said, you know what? Fuck you. I would rather spend my money elsewhere then. Okay? Because if it was a Jewish person coming and asking what it was, he would have told them.
Yep. I just walked by a Jewish guy in there.
Yeah, and I walked by one of the stores, and the Jewish guy turned around and put his hands behind his back with his palm facing towards me.
I turns around and hands behind the back, give me the palm fixation drill. These people are so funny. Hey, it's okay. I don't need to be in a relationship. I don't need to have sex. I'm good. Okay? This is what you guys did. Right? So I'm good now. So, guess what?
Now, I want you to watch this white van that's coming out of this alley.
Oh, see, FDMI.
See, the ambulance drove past. Right?
Guess what?
This is the threat.
Now you have nothing that you can try to use against me.
Now watch what's going
or
on.
To try to bargain with me for, because I'm good. So thank you very much. I appreciate that. Okay? Uh,
And here, see, look. See, I'm walking. He sees me walking, right? Look how he drives his van up on the sidewalk to try and hit me.
yeah. See that? He sees me.
Look how close I'm walking, right? And then he looks
Sees
at
me.
me.
You see me walking, right? See me walking, right? Then, motherfucker, some of these Jewish people, when it comes to black people, they don't care. He riding his vehicle on top of the damn sidewalk and then trying to get mad at me.
Okay, but again, that was a subliminal threat. That's why the ambulance was there. As the ambulance passed, he drives, and you see how close. Had I walked a little faster, I would have gotten hit. Okay?
Now when I drive, I'm a
You see,
courteous to everybody. Okay?
and the reason why
Yeah. But yeah, I'm the racist.
they attacked me with such a veracity today, it was because of this footage that I just captured. So they had to jump in front of it, okay, to try to justify it now, to say, well, you know, it doesn't matter what video you put out. If, you know, we try to hit him with a vehicle, have you, it doesn't matter, okay, because this is through the propaganda. This is what we say he did. This, so that's what he did, and that's it, right?
Right?
Understand the mentality. See,
Make it seem.
like I said, I studied them. I studied.
You gotta laugh at that shit.
Okay.
Okay?
So no, they're not slick.
Because they really
They
think
are not slick.
they have really turned
Okay.
people stupid. But I'm not one of them.
Okay, but like I said, I am not one of them. You know, and so, you know, this is one of the things that they do, right? How they do it, and they know that I got this footage, and so what happened? I know they were trying to prevent me from uploading it last night, but I wasn't going to upload last night because, again, I wanted to see what they were going to do, because I realized that what I just caught on video, right, I wanted to see how they would react, knowing the fact that I caught this on video. And surely enough, they did what I expect them to do. And so now I'm doing this video. I'm not even going to upload it tonight. I'm going to upload it in the morning. Okay? So, yeah, I let them relish in their so-called victory that they feel that they have. You know, let them feel good about themselves.